If you're an educator, you definitely know this feeling. You've got that perfect digital tool you rely on, right up until the moment it's not perfect anymore. That moment your trusty digital whiteboard goes from being your best friend to being a major roadblock. So let's unpack that exact dilemma based on the real-world experience of an educator who decided it was time for a really big switch. And this quote from IT consultant and educator Istiqur Rahman just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the stakes. Your whiteboard isn't just some background app. It's right there in the middle of the action. It can either put the wind in your sails and accelerate learning, or it can bring everything to a grinding halt. You know, this is the million-dollar question for anyone who teaches. At what point does that tool you love stop being a help and start being a hindrance? It's that journey from good enough to truly effective, a crossroads that so many of us face with our tech. And the insights we're talking about here, they come straight from the digital trenches. The educator we're following, Istiqur Rahman, has trained nearly 1,000 students in really complex fields like web development. So when he says he hit a wall with his tools, you know it's based on hundreds of real-world, in-the-moment teaching sessions. Okay, so the story starts with a really logical choice: Microsoft Whiteboard. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's free, it's already integrated with tools tons of us use every day, and for a lot of basic stuff, yeah, it's good enough. And hey, let's be fair, the appeal is obvious. It's free, and you can get to it on pretty much any device. Real-time collaboration with things like ink and sticky notes is super straightforward, and you can just export your board as a simple image. For anyone just starting out, it's a fantastic place to begin. But as your teaching gets more advanced, that beautiful simplicity starts to feel like a cage. All of a sudden, you're wishing you could just automatically turn a dense PDF into a mind map. Lesson prep is taking forever because everything is manual. And in those really big, complex sessions, you start hitting what he calls an ecosystem ceiling. You're forced to juggle a bunch of different tools just to get through the class. So here's the bottom line. Microsoft Whiteboard is awesome for digital handwriting, for basic brainstorming, but if what you really need is to pull ideas out of data and give them structure, if you need what you might call visual intelligence, you're gonna hit that wall and you're gonna hit it hard. And this is where the story takes a turn. Instead of just looking for a slightly better whiteboard, the author made a huge leap to a totally different category of tool, a Visual AI Workspace. So what on earth is a Visual AI Workspace? Well, the key difference is we're not talking about a blank canvas that you have to fill up all by yourself anymore. This is a tool that's more like a thinking partner. It takes your raw materials, your notes, your PDFs, and it actively helps you structure them into something visual, something meaningful, and something clear. Just imagine this workflow for a second. You upload a really complicated case study PDF. The AI reads it and boom, instantly generates a mind map of all the key concepts. Don't love that format? No problem. One click and now it's a flowchart. Then at the end of the class, you export a polished, professional-looking infographic. The amount of manual prep time saved here is it's massive. So the new toolkit is playing a completely different game. It's about getting insights from your documents, not just scribbling on them. It's about generating visuals automatically, not just drawing them by hand. And it's about smart analysis, like taking all your students' feedback on sticky notes and instantly clustering it by theme. Game changer. Okay, so we've seen the two different philosophies here. Now let's really put them head to head. Let's do a little feature-by-feature showdown to see where the real differences are. Let's kick things off with the one thing no educator on the planet has enough of: time. On the one hand, you've got the totally manual approach. You're drawing, you're typing, you're arranging everything yourself. On the other hand, you have an AI that does all that initial heavy lifting for you, turning your source material into a structured diagram in seconds. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a fundamental shift in how you prepare for a lesson. And you can see how this plays out across a few key areas. For visual thinking, we go from hand-drawn shapes to AI-assisted diagrams. For data intelligence, we're moving from just annotating on top of things to the AI actually extracting key points for you. But oh man, look at that last row, export quality. The difference between a simple screenshot and a polished, slide-ready visual for your students to review, that's just huge.
All right, features and comparison tables are great and all, but what does this actually mean in a classroom? You know, what was the impact on the students?
One student really put it perfectly. When the tool itself is helping you build the structure live in real time, students aren't just passively watching a presentation. They're actually watching ideas connect right before their eyes. And you can bet their comprehension goes way, way up. And here's the other side of that same coin. The learning doesn't stop when the class is over. When students have a high-quality, concise summary to take away, they have a valuable asset they can actually use for studying. They don't have to scrub through a whole hour-long recording just to find that one key concept. And you can use this for pretty much anything. It's not just for one specific type of lesson. We're talking about analyzing business cases, having debates that are backed by actual data, running group project retrospectives with AI-clustered feedback. The tool just becomes this super versatile hub for all kinds of teaching styles. So, after going through this whole journey, it really all comes down to a crucial choice. It's not about which tool is the best in some abstract way, but about which one gives you, the educator, the specific advantage that you need. So here's the core trade-off, really. Simple, free tools are an amazing starting point. Nobody's arguing with that. But if your goal is to teach really complex topics with more depth and more clarity, then a tool with built-in intelligence stops being a nice-to-have and becomes a genuine teaching advantage. So, if any of this is resonating with you, here's a clear path forward. First, take a good hard look at your own workflow. What do you actually need? Is it just simple inking, or do you need those AI visuals? Second, don't just poke around with a new tool. Test it on a real lesson. And third, measure the stuff that really matters. How much prep time you save, how many diagrams you don't have to redraw, and most importantly, how well your students are getting it. And that brings us right back to where we started. It's a powerful question and one worth reflecting on. Take a hard look at that main tool you use every day. Is it actively helping you build understanding and momentum? Is it your co-teacher? Or is it secretly, slowly holding you and your students back? The answer just might change the way you teach.